Thinking about oil as well, I know we've seen oil prices kind of start to tail off in the back half of the first quarter. And then I know we've seen recently the news out of Saudi Arabia that's now pushing prices maybe back up a little bit. I mean, at lower levels, I think we're around the $80 level today, which is obviously down from over $100 in the back half of last year. So things still trickling down, and I'm sure that's playing a role in some of the derivatives you follow.
Sure. And I mean, to what we were talking about earlier, when you can't rely on demand, you force your hand with supply, and that's what we're seeing. It's usually not a long-lived trend.
Yep.
So I do think that, it gives short-term opportunities because, with anything, and we see this in the chemicals too, something I particularly love about the evolution of some of the chemical markets in the U.S. is the evolution of the futures markets.
Sure.
So it's not just saying, well, what are crude futures or natural gas futures doing? What are ethylene futures doing? What are propylene futures doing? I think that's really cool. One of the more satisfying things I've seen develop over the past 15 years or so in those markets. And that's where you can see those specific trends, and if they are being affected by energy or if they're divorced from energy, and how far out does that condition exist? Something that, the natural gas liquids markets also have pretty robust futures markets. So we can see, for example, in the States, we do have backwardation in ethylene, propylene, and benzene. And we do in ethane, but not necessarily propane. So, it's interesting because it's not a forecast, but it's letting you know that when you're backward, your highest price is this month, the next month, and there we go. So what's the play to make when you're trying, everybody's situation is different in every day in the market. What's your situation? You have a need in July. Well, you have a July market that you can really look at and see how that works. And maybe your July market involves propane and propylene and polypropylene. You have 3 different situations going on in 3 different markets, not just crude plus.
Sure.
So I think that's a real interesting, just an interesting thing that it gives more options to people.
Yeah,
for sure.
Absolutely.